Hi, I'm Roger Margolis here at OSCON in Portland 2018. I'm here with Jim Ward, who's at Salesforce.
Yep.
And Salesforce at OSCON. Tell me a little more about that.
Yeah. So I run the open source program at Salesforce and trying to help our engineers do open source. We do a lot of open source, and so we really just have our engineers here showing off the open source that they do, and whether it's contributing to external projects or whether it's taking something that they've built internally and open sourcing it. We have them here to show all that off.
Wow, so you're really in a kind of a proactive state around open source. It sounds like you're more in the giving phase than in the taking
we
phase.
definitely take a lot, but we're trying to give back as well. So yeah, we consume tons of open source, and there's a lot of cases where we don't want to pay that fork tax, where we fork something internally and make changes and then don't ever contribute back, because then we're just stuck on old versions, and that there's a tax to that. And so we're trying to contribute back our changes and make things better for everyone to the external projects. So we've done that to projects like Kafka and Kubernetes and tons of other ones.
Oh, great. Sounds like there's some of the big ones there.
Yeah.
So what's kind of the new and exciting stuff that you're doing in open source at Salesforce?
Yeah, there's a few areas that have been really interesting lately. Our AI research team has been open sourcing a lot of their projects. So there's just one that's like a quasi-recurrent neural network thing that I don't understand at all, but is yeah, exactly. And so the AI researchers are doing some really interesting things, and then open sourcing what they've discovered and the new ways of doing neural networks and that sort of stuff. And then our security team has been doing some great stuff and releasing it as open source. One of the exciting ones is one called JA3, JA3, and it's cool because it fingerprints TLS clients. So when a TLS connection is made, it creates a fingerprint based on the connection information, and that allows us to more easily detect malware clients and malicious clients, and because they usually use similar fingerprints when they connect. And so that's something we open sourced, and that one's getting broadly used. So that's a pretty cool one.
Well, just because you're a SaaS company, how is that playing on someone's their computer on the other end?
Yeah.
Is it through? I'm
Yeah.
curious.
So the way that I think that we use it is that somewhere in our network connection pathway, we do the TLS fingerprinting and then have a database of malicious clients, and then can just immediately deny the connections from the ones that we think are malicious. So yeah. So that's obviously is a service that a SaaS can provide, is to help keep things safe and secure, and trust is our #1 value. So
that's right. It makes total sense.
Yeah, and that's a great project to share, because the more people that use it and give us better fingerprint information and share that fingerprint information, the better we can be at denying the bad guys. So.
Right. It sounds like a classic open source story in that the network effect improves everything.
That's right.
For you and for the people who use it.
Exactly.
That's great. So how are people at Salesforce able to contribute? Is this something that's self-selected? How do you get involved in the open source efforts?
Yeah, so we have processes. Being a large company, we have processes that our engineers have to use in order to contribute to open source. And whether it's contributing a bug fix or a feature to an external project, or taking something that they've built internally, we have processes that they go through to do that. And so the team that I'm on manages those processes and helps the engineers through those processes, and there's legal approvals and security approvals and all that kind of stuff, and we try to make it as frictionless as possible, and so that's great. But one of the things that I really like about what we're doing is we at Salesforce are really big on philanthropy, and try to every employee at Salesforce is encouraged to do 56 hours a year of what we call volunteer time off. And so this is, you can pick your project that you want to be involved in, and get paid to actually go volunteer for those projects. So it's actually really cool that open source is actually something that you can do as part of your volunteer time off. So we actually encourage our engineers to get out there and contribute to open source as part of that.
That's great. So your vacation from coding is to do some coding.
That's right.
But it sounds like I know that when you're doing something for the greater good, it just always feels great.
And I do some of that myself, but I also help build trails around where I live in Crested Butte, and so it's fun to be able to get paid to go build trails, and then I get to mountain bike on them.
That sounds great.
It's kind of self-serving, but
I think the payoff to everyone involved is probably way more than the cost.
Yeah.
So You've got a VTO thing.
Yep,
So
that's the volunteer time off. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, yeah. So that's part of our what we call the 1-1-1 model of philanthropy, where we do 1% of our equity, 1% of our time, and 1% of our product we give away to nonprofits. So so that's what the open source is covered under that 1-1-1 model.
Great. And what was kind of your path to open source, where you'd be in this kind of role?
Yeah, so I've been an engineer for a long time and always been passionate about open source, and so so being able to help Salesforce do more open source and do it better is a really cool opportunity. I've been in this role for a year, and it's great because I still get to write some code, but then also help our engineers do more open source, and so it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's really fun.
Sounds great. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, thank you.